What's up, guys? Welcome to this episode of the FREQ Talks Podcast. Today, we're going to dive a little bit deeper into mindset. So, as you know, many of you guys know, I mentioned on a couple weeks ago, a couple episodes ago, that I was in the process of being laid off from my full-time job, and I was about to lose all my stable income. It was really the first time in like 13 or 14 years that I haven't had, a full-time job for some sort of an extended period of time. And at that time, things were a little bit different. I didn't have the responsibilities that I have now. I didn't have the expenses that I have now. I didn't have, the people depending on me that I have now. So things are a little bit different now than they were back then. But in the process of kind of digesting, the fact that I was going to be getting laid off, I was just kind of browsing Instagram and I got an ad for this app called Motivation. So I, checked it out and I downloaded it, and it's really just like every 2 hours, it pops up on your phone or on your Apple Watch with just a quick motivational quote or motivational snippet to, just kind of let you know that things might suck right now. Things might be kind of shitty right now, but they're going to get better. Right? You're taking the steps to make them better. And one that popped up for me last weekend was, forgive yourself for all the times you put yourself last. And this is a big one for me because it's one that I struggle with a lot. I'm the type of person who, I don't want conflict. I don't, I tend to put people's perceptions, people's ideas, people's thoughts, and people's, dreams ahead of my own, to an extent where, I'm literally putting myself last, right? And it's really funny because I'd say 10, 12 years ago, my brother got me this plaque that I had hanging up on my wall in my apartment in DC that said, don't, what did it say? It said something along the lines of, don't spend so much time working that you forget to live, or, don't spend so much time working that you don't get the chance to live, something along those lines. Basically, work provides you the ability to live your life, but don't make work your life, right? And so it all just kind of boils down to do things that work for you, do things that are good for you versus doing things for other people, doing things that other people want you to do all the time. I'm not saying don't ever do things that other people want, but make sure that it doesn't become so pertinent, so to the point where you're never doing anything that you actually want to be doing. You're never taking the steps for yourself. You're never, you're always putting yourself last. That's going to be, massively detrimental to your mental state, your overall, mental capacity to maintain and to keep going, right? So this specific quote, this specific motivational kind of snippet that popped up on my phone was a really good reminder for me to, hey, sometimes you have to have the hard conversations. Sometimes you have to do the things that are going to, frustrate or irritate or piss other people off in order to put yourself first, in order to take care of yourself first. And that's what it really comes down to, right? We're all on this earth for a short period of time in the grand scheme of things, right? It may seem like a long time while you're here, but if you figure the earth is 65 billion years old and we live to 80 years old, right? 80 is a long time. That's a pretty good life. 65 billion, 80, right? In the grand scheme of things, we're not here for that long. So we have to do the things that we enjoy. We have to do the things that put us first. Not always, but definitely more often than not. And if you're constantly putting other people first, you're never really going to have time for yourself. You're never really going to have that opportunity to do the things that you want to do. You're never going to have that opportunity to focus on what makes you happy, what's going to bring you to the next level, what's going to make you become a better person. And becoming a better person and putting yourself first, it sounds selfish, and it sounds like something that people don't want to do. But it should be what everybody wants to do, right? And you hear a lot about it in relationships. It's selfish to put yourself over the relationship, but your relationship will be stronger if you put yourself first, right? And that's not only significant others and wives and girlfriends and boyfriends and husbands, but it's also relationships with friends and relationships with close confidants and people that you consider extremely close to you. Right. I've had multiple times where people have, called me up or text me or, something to, come hang out and come do something. And, that's the rare occasion when I have been very good about putting myself first is if I'm not in the right headspace to go out, I just won't go out, right? I do one of two things, and one of them is clearly worse than the other, but I'll either just not respond until the next day and then just kind of explain, what was going on, or I'll respond and let them know, like, hey, sorry, I can't come out right now, dealing with some personal stuff, trying to get in the right headspace, I'll text you tomorrow. And everybody's always been fine with that, right? Like that's the one that everybody's okay with. The ones that people aren't okay with are when you prioritize other things for yourself first, right? When you prioritize leaving work at a decent hour every single day in order to do the things that you want to do, in order to do the things that make you happy, in order to better yourself, versus staying at work until 9 or 10 or 11 o'clock at night and just grinding and hustling and focusing on the work, right? That's one where, an employer might be frustrated that you decided to leave, but in the long run, you're doing more for yourself that's going to make you a better employee down the road, right? So it's that long-term vision of what's going to make me better. And more often than not, what ends up making you better is doing the things for yourself, doing things that you want to do, doing things that you enjoy doing things that are going to bring you to that next step, to that next level, versus always focusing on what other people want first, always focusing on what other people desire and what other people's dreams are first, right? So it was just a really good motivational thing that kind of popped up at the right time, specifically with everything that's going on in my life. Don't apologize for putting yourself first, and instead give yourself the ability to forgive yourself for all the times that you have put other people ahead of you, put other people's priorities ahead of your own, put other people's dreams and aspirations ahead of your own. And I've been known to do this on multiple occasions where, I've wanted to do something and then, things out of my control push me in another direction, or things out of my control in another arena of my life, put an emphasis on me stepping up and helping that arena out, or taking control, or providing more time and opportunity to that arena versus what I actually wanted to be doing, right? And it's backfired on me. I've gotten in arguments with people over certain things due to the fact that, I put them first, and then they still weren't happy with, where I was at the end of that, right? So really, this one just kind of comes down to, you have to do the things that you want to do for you, and you have to do them when the time fits, when the time is right for you, right? So don't do things when the time is right for other people. Don't do things when the time is right, or when other people need you to do things. If you're available and that's what you want to do, 100% absolutely do it. But if eating properly, and if exercising, and if taking care of yourself, and if taking a day or a week or a weekend or a month to, refocus on what you want to be doing versus what other people want you to be doing, or versus what other people want to be doing, and they need your assistance in it, right? Don't feel bad about taking that time for yourself to focus on what it is that you want and what it is that works for you, and what it is that is going to bring you to the next level, because you don't owe anybody anything other than what you've told them you'll give them, right? I don't know if that makes any sense. I'm just kind of going off the cuff here, but you only owe people what you're able to give them. You don't owe them anymore, right? So don't overexert yourself. Don't put other people's priorities so far ahead of your own that you lose sight of what your own priorities are, right? And if you do that, very quickly identify it, forgive yourself for it, step away from the situation, and then put yourself back on a track to going where you want to go, doing what you want to be doing, and taking that next step for yourself versus taking that next step for other people. Other people need to take that step for themselves as well. So that's kind of where I'm at right now, right? Just a real quick mindset adjustment that I've been working on, which is, sometimes you need to have those difficult conversations. Sometimes you need to do things that are going to, not so much irritate or frustrate people, but it's going to be different from what you've done in the past when you've always put their priorities first. So do the things that are important to you, regardless of what anybody else thinks, or regardless of what other people want you to do or expect you to do, right? that's on them for wanting that or expecting that. What you need to do is focus on yourself. And if you can focus on yourself, then you can take that next step. And then eventually you'll be in a much better position to support them and have their back and do the things that they're requesting of you, that they're asking of you, in order to help them level up, in order to help them reach that next step. Because if you yourself are in a bad place, or if you yourself are in a bad state of mind, or if you yourself are not putting the things that you need to do first, then it's only going to be so long before you eventually break down and you're unable to do things for other people. You're unable to do the things that they're asking of you. You're unable to do the things that they're expecting of you. So prioritize yourself, put yourself first. It sounds extremely selfish. I get that. I know that. I 100% understand that. But when it comes down to it, if you are constantly putting other people first, then you're never going to have time for yourself, and you're always going to be exactly where you're at right now. Whereas if you put yourself first, you then take the steps to improve yourself, and then you're in a much better position to help and support the people in your life that you care about and that you want to be able to help and support. If that makes sense. I hope that makes sense. All right, guys, that's what I wanted to talk about today. Don't ever apologize for putting yourself first, and forgive yourself for, any times where you've, whether intentionally or unintentionally, put yourself last in regards to assisting and helping other people based on what they need, what they want, or what they expect you to do. So that's what I got for you today. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next week. Hey, what's up? Thank you for checking out this episode of the FREQ Talks Podcast. If you found this interesting, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that little notification bell so that you get notified every time we upload a new video. Thanks a lot. Have a great day.